Hello, hi everyone. Let's wait for 3 or 4 minutes. Let everyone join in. Let's wait for 3 or 4 minutes. Let everyone join. Let's wait for 2 3 minutes more. Let everyone join in. Come on, join in. Two more minutes. Let's wait for another minute. Okay, hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Unacademy, India's largest online learning platform that gives you a world of courses, resources, content, live and recorded sessions to help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examination. Also, welcome to Crack CA Exams with us, which is a vertical and channel of Unacademy that helps the students of CA Foundation and Intermediate in their journey and pursuit of preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations by providing top educators, quality content, and overall a great learning experience. So come, let's crack CA exams with Unacademy, India's largest online learning platform. Welcome to the session today. Before we proceed, a little introduction about the educator today. Hello, I'm Prathik Gupta. I'm a Bachelor of Commerce from Christ College, Bangalore University. I am an associate member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, an associate member of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, and an associate member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. I'm also a law graduate from Karnataka State Law University and currently a practicing chartered accountant. And I'm also a visiting faculty for CA subjects and an educator for CA students both offline and online. Prior to starting on my own, I worked with SR Bartley Boy and Associates, that is the Indian member firm of Ernst & Young Global, EY Global in the Audit and Assurance Department, and Ernst & Young India in the Mergers and Acquisitions Department. I also worked with the Manipal Group in Bangalore and was the corporate controller of the German subsidiary located in Frankfurt, Germany. And it was only after I got back from Frankfurt, Germany that I decided to start something on my own. And that gave me the opportunity to become an educator, which in turn has given me an opportunity today to take this session for you young, fine, and enthusiastic CA aspirants. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And anytime during my session, in case you have any questions, queries, observations, or discussions, please feel free to drop in a line and I will be happy to take up the matter as soon as possible, either for problem solving or for discussions as soon as possible. All right, now just a second. Now you can also look me up on YouTube with my name, that is Prathik Gupta, PRATHIKGUPTA, to find the other many sessions that I've taken on YouTube that will help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. You can go through those sessions, and after going through the sessions, in case you have any questions or queries, you can always get back to me and I will be happy to assist you with those. All right? Yeah. So, like I told you, Unacademy helps you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examination. Now it helps you through three platforms. One is YouTube, what you're attending today. Then there is special classes which are on the Unacademy Learning App, and then we have the premium platform of Unacademy, which is the Plus platform, which is a payment-based subscription model. Let's talk about the Plus platform. Now I strongly recommend and encourage you to get onto the Plus platform of Unacademy as soon as possible due to the following 4 reasons. Firstly, it provides daily live classes where you get to chat with your educator, engage in discussions, ask your doubts, and answer polls. All this while the class is going on. Yes, you heard it right. All this while the class is going on. You do not need to wait till the end of the session. You do not need to wait a couple of days after the session. You do not need to wait for the end of the week or fix up an appointment with your educator. You can clear your doubts and discuss with your educator then and there on a real-time basis. It's as simple as lifting your hands up in a classroom and your educator will answer your queries. All right. The second reason why I recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform as soon as possible is because of the live tests and quizzes it conducts on a regular and periodic basis, which help you in evaluation of your preparation. And it also conducts various mock tests at regular intervals to get detailed analysis of your performance. Now you might wonder how these mock tests and evaluation and analysis of your performance might help you. So please remember, every time it's good to get an idea about your level of preparation as to which areas you are prepared, which areas you require more preparation, etc. So basically it helps to prepare your preparation into 3 points, that is your strong areas, not so strong areas, and your weak areas. And you can spend whatever limited preparation time you get on these 3 areas accordingly. In the sense, more time on your weak areas, a little lesser time on your not so strong areas, and less time on your strong areas until a time you reach where your weak areas and your not so strong areas eventually become your strong areas. So thereby, this results in minimum wastage of time and maximum utilization of time. The third reason why I recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy is because of the structured courses it provides, as all the courses on the Plus platform are in line with your exam syllabus to help you best prepare for it. So basically the courses on the Plus platform are prepared keeping in mind your exam syllabus, so that once you finish your Plus course, you can rest assured that you've completed the syllabus of your examination without missing out on any important or major point. And lastly and most importantly, the one subscription to the Plus platform of Unacademy will give you access to all its live and recorded courses to watch from the comfort of any of your device. It simply means once you get a Plus subscription, you can view all the live and recorded special classes. You can view all the live and recorded Plus courses, which will help you in your examination. Not only this, you can view it from any of your devices, that is your mobile phone, laptop, tablet, or your desktop, as the case may be. Also, you can access it 24/7 without having any timing restrictions that 10 to 6 or 10 to 5, whatever time you find time for your preparations, you can just pull out your mobile phones, log into the Unacademy Learning App, and start preparing for the examinations. One more feature is all these sessions and courses are available to you at any place. It could be a house, your native place. You might be traveling, you might be on a vacation, or you might be traveling from work to home or home to work, or you might be waiting for someone for a meeting and you might have some time to spare. You can simply pull out your mobile phone, log into the Unacademy Learning App, and make use of all these resources in order to prepare for your examination. So keeping these, all you require is a internet connection or a data plan, which all of us are blessed with today. So keeping all these things in mind, I strongly recommend and encourage you to become part of the Plus platform of Unacademy in order to accelerate and enhance your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate course. All right? Yeah. Now, for those of you who are on the Unacademy Learning App, I thank you very much, and I request your support in the future as well. And for the remaining of you, I request you to go to your Play Store on the mobile phone, download the Unacademy Learning App, put in your mobile number where you will get an OTP, and using that OTP you can register on the Unacademy Learning App. It is as simple as this, no complicated or lengthy procedures. Now, what do you get once you register on the Unacademy Learning App? You get access to all the live and recorded special classes that Unacademy has to offer to you to help you in your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examination, and it gives you access to all the live and recorded Plus courses that Unacademy has to offer to you in order to accelerate and enhance your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate examinations. All right, so please make use of this opportunity. Download the Unacademy Learning App, register on it using your mobile number and the OTP, and make use of all the resources that Unacademy has to offer you. Also, I would request you to spread the word around and let people around you know about the Unacademy Learning App. Bring them on the Unacademy Learning App, help them register on it using their mobile number and OTP, and also making use of the resources. Please take about 30 seconds and then we proceed. Okay, now, like I told you, the Plus platform of Unacademy is a premium platform of Unacademy, which is a payment-based subscription model which provides various subscription packages for the examinations. The CA Foundation and Intermediate subscription packages provided by the Plus platform of Unacademy are as follows. The packages provided are for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and 24 months. The 1 month package normally costs you rupees 3,500. The 3 month package will cost you about 8,750. The 6 months package will cost you about 14,000. The 12 month package will cost you about 17,500, and the 24 months package will cost you about 21,000 rupees. Now, please remember, this is the listed price. Before you make the payment of the package of your choice, please do not forget to use the code Prathik, P-R-A-T-H-I-K, to get an instant discount of 10% on the listed price. I repeat, please do not forget to use the code Prathik, that's me, to get an instant discount of 10% on the above listed price. So the after discount price of the various packages are as follows. The 1 month package will cost you rupees 3,150. The 3 month package will cost you rupees 7,875. The 6 month package will cost you rupees 12,600. The 12 month package will cost you rupees 15,750. And the 24 months package will cost you rupees 18,900. So you see, instantly you get a savings of 10% when you use my code. Now, I personally recommend you to start off with a 12 months package at least for two reasons. Firstly, it is cost effective. So if you compare it with the 1 month package, it will give you great savings. And secondly, and most importantly, since the CA Foundation and Intermediate courses are provided in one subscription, a 12-month package will be highly beneficial to you because the entire duration of your courses, that is CA Foundation and Intermediate subscription, is being provided in one package, because normally it takes about 12 months time for you to prepare and clear the CA Foundation and Intermediate examination. So this will help you a lot and also be cost effective. But having said this, you're free to choose the package of your choice. But before you make the payment, please do not forget to use the code Prathik, Prathik, to get an instant discount of 10% on the above listed price. You can also use the no-cost EMI option available for 6 months, 12 months and 24 months packages. Just in case you do not wish to make the entire payment at one shot, you can avail this opportunity as well. The payment options available are internet banking, debit card and credit card. And also the coins that you've accumulated while watching the special classes can be redeemed while you proceed to pay for the Plus course. All right, so please take this opportunity and become part of the Plus program as soon as possible. Please take about a minute, go through this, and then we proceed. Any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask. Take a minute. All right. Okay. Now, like I told you, the Unacademy Learning App gives you access to all the live and recorded special classes that Unacademy has to offer to you. Here are snapshots of few of the many special classes that I have conducted on the Unacademy Learning App, which include revision test papers, the Sale of Goods Act, the Indian Contracts Act, the Companies Act. Then we have partnership accounts, accounts of NPOs, final accounts, sale of goods on approval or return basis. Okay, and there are many more special classes which are there for your information and use. You can access them, make use of it, and in case you have any questions at the end of it, you can always come back to me. All right. Now here also I've given you links to a few of the many special classes that I have conducted on the Unacademy Learning App. You can either click on these links or you can copy and paste these links to directly take you to the Unacademy Learning App and my special class section so that you can make use of it. The special classes are on the Indian Contracts Act, Sale of Goods Act, Indian Partnership Act, Limited Liability Partnership Act, Companies Act, Basics of Communication, Accounting Concepts and Revision Test Papers. All right, please take about 30 seconds, go through this, and then we proceed. Okay, any questions? Okay, so let's start on with the revision test papers November 2020 for business laws. Okay, that's going to be our YouTube session today. Now, let's start off. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to read the question, give you the solution, then give you about 3 or 4 minutes to go through it. And in case you have any questions, you can always ask me. All right, so in between, if you have any questions, always feel free to ask me. So let's start off with first the Indian Contracts Act 1872, question 1. X entered into a contract with Y to supply him 100 bottles of water, 100 water bottles at rupees 5 per water bottle to be delivered at a specific time. Thereafter, X contracts with Z for the purchase of 1000 water bottles at 4.5 rupees per bottle, and the same time told Z that he did so for the purpose of performing his contract entered into with Y. Z failed to perform his contract in due course, and the market price of each water bottle on that day was rupees 5.25 per bottle. Consequently, X could not procure any water bottle and Y rescinded the contract. Calculate the amount of damages which X could claim from Z in their circumstances. What would be your answer if Z had not informed about Y's contract? Explain with reference to provisions of the Indian Contracts Act. Okay, so now the first topic we're going to talk about is the Indian Contracts Act. Okay, so now the question is Y had to supply 1000 water bottles at rupees 5 each to X had to supply to Y, and for the purpose of the supply he entered into a contract with Z purchasing these water bottles at 4 rupees 50 paisa per bottle, and he told Z clearly that I'm buying these bottles from you because I want to supply it further to Y. So Z said yes. On the day when Z had to supply, Z failed to supply, and X could not get the bottles from the open market, and because of that he could not supply it to Y, and then Y rescinded the contract. So X wants to sue Z for damages. So the question is, how much damages can he sue him for, and what will be the answer in case Z was not informed about Y's contract? Okay, now we need to explain this with reference to Indian Contracts Act 1872. Okay, so let's look at the answer. The breach of contract damages. Section 73 of the Indian Contracts Act 1872 lays down that when a contract has been broken, the party who suffers by such breach is entitled to receive from the party who has broken the contract compensation for any loss or damage caused to him thereby which naturally arose in the usual course of things from such breach, or which the parties knew when they made the contracts likely to result from them. So as per section 73 of the Indian Contracts Act, whenever any party breaches a contract, breaches means fails to complete their part of responsibilities, then they are liable to pay damages. Now that damages compensation. Now that compensation will be any normal compensation which the other person has incurred due to the breach of contract by the other person, and especially when they knew about it. Okay, please take about 2 or 3 minutes, go through the slide, read the question and read this part of the answer, and then we proceed. Any questions, please ask me. Take 2 to 3 minutes. Any questions, please ask. Take about 2 more minutes. Any questions, please ask. Let me know once you're done. Any questions? Take about a minute more. Are we done? Okay. Let's move to the next part of the question, next part of the answer. The leading case in this point is Hadley versus Benendale, in which it was decided by the court that the special circumstances under which the contract was actually made were communicated by the plaintiff to the defendant, and thus known to both the parties to the contract. The damages resulting from the breach of such contract, which they would reasonably contemplate, would be the amount of injury which would ordinarily follow from the breach of contract under these special circumstances, so known and communicated. So under the leading case in this case is the Hadley versus Benendale case, in which when the plaintiff has very clearly told the other person that I'm buying this goods, or the purpose for which he's buying, entering into the contract, and still the second person breaches the contract, then he would normally be liable for any losses which the first person has incurred due to his failure. Okay. Now, the problem asked in this question is based on the provision of Section 73 of the Indian Contracts Act 1872. In this instant case, X had intimated to Z that he was purchasing water bottles from him for the purpose of performing his contract with Y. Okay, thus Z had the knowledge of the special circumstances. Therefore, X is entitled to claim from Z rupees 500 at the rate of 0.5 paise, 50 paise per 1000 water bottles, that is 1000 water bottles into 50 paise, difference between procuring price of water bottles and contracted selling price to Y, being the amount of profit X would have made by performing this contract. All right, so now because Z knew about the purpose for which the bottles were being purchased by X and still he failed, now whatever profit X would have made, that profit will be compensated by Z to X. Okay, if X had not informed Z of Y's contract, then the amount of damages would have been the difference between the contract price and the market price and the date of the default. In other words, the amount of damages would have been 750, that is 1000 water bottles into 75 paise, because on that day the rate had become 5 rupees 25 paise. But X had contracted with Z to buy it at 4 rupees 50 paise. So the difference 75 paise into 1000 would have been 750. All right. Yeah. So that's the answer to your question. Please take about 2 or 3 minutes, go through this, and then we proceed. Any questions? Please ask. Any questions? Please ask. Take 2 or 3 minutes, read it carefully. Take 2 or 3 minutes, read it carefully, and then we proceed. Take 2 more minutes. Any questions? Any questions? Please ask. Okay, let's go on to the second question. Okay, now carefully. Mr. Sham owned a motor car. Okay, he approached Mr. Vikas and offered to sell his car for rupees 3 lakhs. Mr. Sham told Mr. Vikas that the motor car is running at the rate of 30 kilometers per liter of petrol. Both the fuel meter and the speed meter of the car were working perfectly. Mr. Vikas agreed with the proposal of Mr. Sham and took delivery of the car by paying rupees 3 lakhs to Mr. Sham. After 10 days, Mr. Vikas came back with the car and stated that the claim made by Mr. Sham regarding fuel efficiency was not correct and therefore there was a case of misrepresentation. Referring to the provisions of the Indian Contracts Act 1872, decide and write whether Mr. Vikas can rescind the contract in the above ground. Okay, so Mr. Sham has a car. Now he went and offered Mr. Vikas that you buy my car for 3 lakhs. And he told Vikas that it's working perfectly and it's giving a mileage of 30 kilometers per liter of petrol. But both the fuel meter and the speedometer of the car were working perfectly. So Mr. Vikas agreed to the proposal and he bought the car. Later on, after 10 days of using the car, he came back and told Mr. Sham that no, the car is not giving that kind of mileage and there was a misrepresentation. So, referring to the provisions of the Indian Contracts Act, decide and write whether Mr. Vikas can rescind the contract in the above ground. Okay, so that's what the question is. So, let's look at the answer. As per the provisions of Section 19 of the Indian Contracts Act, when consent to an agreement is caused by coercion, fraud, or misrepresentation, an agreement or the contract is voidable at the option of the party whose consent was so caused. Okay, so please remember, as per the Indian Contracts Act, if any person's consent is obtained through fraud, coercion, misrepresentation, the agreement is a contract voidable at the option of the party whose consent was so caused. A party to contract whose consent was caused by misrepresentation or fraud, if he thinks fit, insists that the contract shall be performed and that he shall be put in a position in which he would have been if the representations made had been true. Okay, so a party to a contract whose consent was caused by fraud or misrepresentation, also if he thinks fit, insists that the contract shall be performed and that he shall be put in a position in which he would have been if the representations made had been true. Alright, so these are the options available to the person. So please take about 2 minutes, go through this and then we proceed to the next slide. Any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask. Let me know once you're done. We go to the next slide. Take 2 minutes. Any questions? Take another minute. questions? Okay. So, exception. If such consent was caused by misrepresentation or by silence, fraudulent within the meaning of section 17, the contract nevertheless is not voidable. If the party whose consent was so caused had the means of discovering the truth with ordinary negligence. So, even though in this Sham may have misrepresented, but Vikas could have used his common sense and discovered the truth with ordinary diligence, which he did not. In the situation given in the question, both the fuel meter and the speed meter of the car were working perfectly. Therefore, Mr. Vikas had the means of discovering the truth with ordinary diligence. Therefore, the contract is not voidable. Hence, Mr. Vikas cannot rescind the contract on the above ground. In case the fuel meter and the speedometer were not working properly, then he could have had an option of rescinding the contract. But here, with ordinary diligence, he could have found out what the truth about the car is. So, in this case, the contract, Mr. Vikas cannot rescind the contract on the above ground. Okay, please take 2 minutes, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask. Any questions? Please ask. Go through this. Any questions, please ask. Okay, let's move to the next question. Define the term acceptance. Discuss the legal provisions relating to communication of acceptance. Okay, now this is the third question. We are talking about Indian Contracts Act 1872. Okay, according to section 2B, the term acceptance is defined as follows. When the person to whom the proposal is made signifies his assent thereto, the proposal is said to be accepted. A proposal, when accepted, becomes a promise. Okay, now when a person to whom a proposal is made signifies his assent thereto. Okay, when a person to whom a proposal is made signifies his assent, means gives his consent or assent, the proposal is said to be accepted. A proposal, when accepted, becomes a promise. Okay, an acceptance, in order to be valid, must be absolute, unqualified, accepted according to the mode, if any, prescribed within the reasonable time, and communicated to the offerer. Acceptance can also be made by way of conduct. Okay, so please remember, an acceptance in order to be valid must be absolute, that means unconditional, unqualified, and accepted according to the mode. So the person who makes an offer might also tell you the way in which the acceptance might be communicated. So if any such mode is mentioned, then the acceptance has to be in that mode itself. The legal provisions relating to communication of acceptance are contained in section 4. The communication of an acceptance is complete as against the proposer when it is put in course of transmission to him so as to be out of the powers of the acceptor, as against the acceptor when it comes to the knowledge of the proposer. Okay, now see, the communication of an acceptance is complete. Now there are two stages here. One is from the proposer's point of view and one is the acceptor's point of view. Now, as against the proposer, the communication of an acceptance is complete when it is put in course of a transmission to him. So the person who accepts the promise, once he puts the acceptance in transmission or in transit to the proposer, so that he cannot change that. then it is said to be completed as against the proposer. Now, as against the acceptor, when it comes to the knowledge of the proposer that the acceptor has accepted the proposal, then it becomes the communication of an acceptance is complete. All right. Please take about 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, go through this slide, and then we proceed. Any questions? Please ask. Take 2 or 3 minutes. Any questions? Please ask, and then we continue. Any questions? Any questions? Please ask. Let me know once you're done. Any questions? Take another minute. Take another minute, and then we continue. All right, 30 seconds more. Hi Pranav, empty है मतलब? What is empty? Pranav? Okay, then Section 3 of the Act prescribes in general two modes of communication, namely by any act or by omission, intending thereby communicate to the other, or which has the effect of communicate to the other. So communication is by an act or by omission of doing any act. All right. The first method would include any conduct and words, whether written or oral. Written words would include letters, telegrams, advertisements, etc. Oral words would include telephonic messages. Any conduct would include positive acts or signs so that the other person understands what the person acting or making the signs means to say or convey. Omission would exclude silence but include such conduct or for forbearance on one's part that the other person takes it as his willingness or assent. These are not only modes of communication of the intent of the parties. There are other means as well. Example, if you as the owner deliver the goods to me as the buyer thereof at a certain price, this transaction will be understood by everyone as acceptance by act or conduct, unless there is indication of the contrary. Okay, so please remember the acceptance of an offer can be done either by an act or by not doing an act. Both these cases will be taken as acceptance of the proposal. The phrase appearing in section 3, which has the effect of communicating, it clearly refers to an act or omission or conduct which may be indirect but which results in communicating an acceptance or non-acceptance. However, a mere mental but unilateral act of assent in one's own mind does not tantamount to communication, since it cannot have the effect of communicating to the owner. So please remember, if you are in your mind just thinking about accepting or rejecting a proposal, that is not valid. It has to be communicated through words, and those words have to be put into action. Only then can it have the effect of communicating to the other. So like I said, the acceptance of an offer can be made either through an act or by not doing an act, if that has the ultimate effect of communicating acceptance. Okay, please take about 2 or 3 minutes, go through this slide, and then we proceed. Any questions, please ask. Take about 2 or 3 minutes, go through this. Take about 2 or 3 minutes. Any questions, please ask me. Take another 2 minutes. Any questions, please ask. And then we move on. Any questions? Anyone? Any questions? All right. Let me know once you're done. I'm giving you ample time to read this. Once you finish it, then let me know and we proceed. Okay, so now let's go to the next question. To form a valid contract, consideration must be adequate. Comment. Question number 4. Okay, so this is talking about consideration, and we're talking about Indian Contracts Act 1872. The law provides that a contract should be supported by consideration. So long as consideration exists, the courts are not concerned as to its adequacy, provided it is of some value. The adequacy of consideration is for the parties to consider at the time of making the agreement, not for the court when it is sought to be enforced. The leading case in this is Bolton versus Morden. Consideration must, however, be something to which the law attaches high value, though it not be equivalent in value of a promise. So please remember, according to the Indian Contracts Act, for any contract to be valid, there has to be a valid consideration. Okay, now consideration has to be valid. It should not be illegal or unlawful. Right? But the Indian Contracts Act does not say that the consideration should be adequate. Adequate means what might be less for someone might be more for someone. All right. So if a person is selling something at a very low cost to someone, that is his choice. So it is the agreement between the seller and the buyer, and no one can question the adequacy of consideration unless, as long as it has some value. All right. So if it's got some value, it is a valid consideration. According to explanation 2 to section 25 of the Indian Contracts Act 1872, an agreement to which the consent of the promisor is freely given is not void merely because the consideration is inadequate, but the inadequacy of the consideration may be taken into account by the court in determining the question whether the consent of the promisor was freely given. Alright, now please remember there are two things here. Okay, firstly, as long as the consent is given freely, there is no question that can be asked about the adequacy of a consideration. But in case there is a consideration that appears inadequate, the courts may at times want to go ahead and find out whether there was a free consent given or whether that consent was obtained through coercion, fraud, or undue influence or misrepresentation. All right, because if someone is giving away something at a very low cost, then if it's a free consent, it's no problem. But if there is no free consent, then the courts take a step further and try to find out if the consent was obtained freely or through some fraudulent means. Okay, are you clear? Got the point? Please take about 2 or 3 minutes, go through this, and then we proceed. Any questions, please ask me. Any questions, please ask. Any questions? Please read it carefully, and any questions you may have, please ask. Any questions? क्या empty है? I think you need to refresh. Everyone can see me and hear me. I think you need to refresh your phones. What is empty? क्या empty है? ध्रुव, प्रणव, क्या empty है? Take another 2 minutes. Yes, ध्रुव, refresh. स्क्रीन आएगा आपका. प्रणव, आप भी रिफ्रेश कीजिए. Let me know if you can see it. I'm waiting. Yes, Dhruv, is it working now? Let me know, Dhruv. Pranav, can you see the screen? Can you see me and hear me clearly as well? Let me know, please, before we proceed. Can you see me, hear me, and can you see the slide? Yes? Dhruv, Pranav. Let me know so that we can proceed. Yes? All right. Let's go to the next question. Question number 5. Explain the term quasi contracts and state their characteristics. Okay. Quasi contracts. Under special circumstances, obligations resembling those created by contract are imposed by law, although the parties have never entered into a contract. So quasi contracts are contracts. All right, Pranav. Very nice. Okay. So sometimes parties don't enter into a contract, but there are legal obligations cast on them, and on the same obligations in a contract are put in by the law. The parties have never entered a contract. Such obligations imposed by law are referred to as quasi contracts. Okay, so the parties do not get into a contract, but certain obligations are imposed on them similar to a contract by law. Those are known as quasi contracts. Such a contract resembles with a contract so far as result or effect is concerned, but it has little or no affinity with a contract in respect to mode of creation. These contracts are based on the doctrine that a person shall not be allowed to enrich himself unjustly. Okay, so quasi contracts are based on the provision that no one shall be allowed to take advantage of someone else's disadvantage, okay, unjustly at the expense of another. The salient features of a quasi contract are: it does not arise from any agreement of the parties concerned but is imposed by law. The duty does not, and duty and not promise is the basis of such contract. Okay, it is more dutiful in this contract, not promise. Okay, the right under the, it is always right to money, and generally, though not always, to a liquidated sum of money. Such a right is available as against specific persons and not against the whole world. Okay, so basically under a quasi contract, the rights are available against specific persons and not against the whole world. A suit for the breach may be filed in the same way as in case of a complete contract. All right, so these are the salient features of the quasi contracts. I request you to take about 2 or 3 minutes, go through this. Any questions, please ask me. All right, any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask. Let me know once you're done. Any questions, please ask. Take another 2-3 minutes. Let me know once you're done. Any questions? Any questions? Please ask. Are we done or we require another minute or so? Let me know once you're done. Any questions? Please ask. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Now we talk about Sale of Goods Act 1930. J, the owner of a Fiat car, wants to sell his car. For this purpose, he hands over the car to P, a mercantile agent, for sale at a price not less than 50,000 rupees. The agent sells the car for rupees 40,000 to A, who buys the car in good faith and without notice of any fraud. P misappropriated the money also. J sues A to remove the car, decide giving reasons whether J would succeed. Okay, now in the instant case, J is the owner of a Fiat car and he wanted to sell it, so he appointed an agent, uh, P, to sell his car at a price not less than 50,000 rupees. The agent sells the car for rupees 40,000 rupees to A, who buys the car in good faith, and then P also takes the money and runs away. Okay, he does not even pay that money to J. Now, J sues A to recover the car, decide giving reasons whether J would succeed. Okay, that's the question. Let's look at the answer. The problem in this case is based on the provisions of Sale of Goods Act 1930 contained in the Proviso to Section 17. The proviso provides that a mercantile agent is one who, in the customary course of his business, has as such agent authority either to sell goods or to consign goods for the purpose of sale or to buy goods or to raise money on the security of goods. The buyer of goods from a mercantile agent who has no authority from principal to sell gets a good title to the goods if the following conditions are satisfied. Okay, so normally if a person appoints an agent and gives him authority to sell the goods, enter into contracts on his behalf, consign the goods, or pledge the goods to raise money, then if such an agent sells goods to another person in good faith, the good faith obtains a good title. All right, please take about 2 or 3 minutes, go through this slide, and then we proceed. Any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask. Take another minute. Any questions? Okay. The agent should be in possession of the goods or documents of title to the goods with the consent of the owner. The agent should sell the goods while acting in the ordinary course of business of a mercantile agent. The buyer should act in good faith. The buyer should not have at the time of contract of sale noticed that the agent has no authority to sell. In the instant case P, the agent was in possession of the car with J's consent for the purpose of sale. A, the buyer therefore obtained a good title to the car, hence J in this case cannot recover the car from A. Okay, now because your mercantile agent was in possession of the goods with the consent of the owner J, the agent sold the goods while acting in the ordinary course of business of a mercantile agent. The buyer acted in good faith, and the buyer at the time of making the purchase from the mercantile agent had no notice that the agent had no authority. In such a case, the buyer obtains a good title, and the main owner J cannot recover the car from A. Alright, please take 2 or 3 minutes, go through this, and then we proceed. Any questions, please ask. Any questions, please ask. Take about a minute more. Any questions, please ask. Any questions? Okay, let's go on to the next question. Suraj sold his car to Sohan for rupees 75,000. After inspection and satisfaction, Sohan paid rupees 25,000 and took possession of the car and promised to pay the remaining amount within a month. Later on, Sohan refuses to give the remaining amount on the ground that the car was not in good condition. Advise Suraj as to what remedy is available against him, available to him against Sohan. So basically, Suraj sold his car to Sohan for 75,000. Sohan first inspected the car after being satisfied, paid 25,000 to him, and he said the remaining 50,000 he'll pay it within a month. Now, after a month, Sohan refuses to pay the amount and says that the car is not in good condition. Now, the question is, what legal remedy does Suraj have against Sohan? Alright, so let's continue. Alright, answer. As per section 55 of the Sale of Goods Act 1930, an unpaid seller has a right to institute a suit for price against the buyer personally. The said section lays down that where under a contract of sale the property in the goods has passed to the buyer and the buyer wrongfully neglects or refuses to pay for the goods, the seller may sue him for the price of the goods. Okay, so in this case, Suraj can sue Sohan under section 55 of the Sale of Goods Act, where under a contract of sale the price is payable on a certain day irrespective of delivery and the buyer wrongfully neglects or refuses to pay such price, the seller may sue him for the price. It makes no difference even if the property in the goods has not passed and the goods have not been appropriated to the contract. So there are two things here. First thing is the goods has passed on to the buyer but the buyer has not paid. Secondly, when the buyer has committed that on a particular date I will pay you, and on that particular date he does not pay, irrespective on that date if the goods has passed on from the seller to the buyer. In both these cases, under section 55(1) and 55(2), a case can be filed against the buyer. All right, please take 2 or 3 minutes, go through this, and then we proceed. Any questions, please ask. Take 2 or 3 minutes. Any questions, please ask. Are we done? Let me know once you're done and we'll proceed. Are we done? Okay, if we are done, we would like to end this session with this, and we will continue again at 7:30 p.m. today. All right. Thank you so much, and I will see you at 7:30. See you.